Welcome to Payments Playbook, the show where we explore the strategies and systems that drive smarter payments, stronger cash flow, and more profitable business. Brought to you by Paylink, the business-to-business payment experts. Now let's dive into today's episode. For today's episode of Payments Playbook, we have Tyler Nelson with All Set Technologies. Welcome, Tyler, and thanks for being here.
I appreciate you for having me.
Excellent.
Pleasure.
Great. To start with, Tyler, can you give us a little information about All Set Technologies and what you're all about?
Yeah, sure. Currently, I guess you could quote it as an AI automations agency. And what we do is we help businesses navigate the AI revolution. So we can be their transformation partner, and then also we can help build some automations for them as well. We can even educate them on how to even better enhance their current capabilities and what they're currently utilizing AI for. So anywhere in those kind of three verticals is really where we kind of sit and excel pretty well.
Do you have any preference on the business verticals that you're going after, or you pretty much go across all verticals?
It's pretty much across all right now. We have kind of a soft spot for the more blue collar type businesses. Having grown up in southeastern Wisconsin, where the main company offered a lot of blue collar jobs and they manufactured a lot of products that we use. I mean, it supplied the economy for that entire city and it was quite prosperous. So, with that being the backbone of our economy in the U.S., yeah, it's kind of our soft spot there, and we see a way of continuing our service from the Army that we get to help these businesses and hopefully the goal is to help them have a competitive advantage in their industry so that they can continue to grow and scale and create jobs and revenue for our economy. I'm no longer in the Army, and that for me is a huge way of continuing kind of that service, and that's what we built our company on is that kind of principle of continuing to serve and provide a service to other businesses to help kind of stimulate the economy that can then trickle down in a number of other ways.
Absolutely. And then one thing I usually ask a little bit about the background and your role in the company. Why don't we do a touch base on that also?
Yeah. So I'm the founder of All Set Technologies and the CEO. I have a chief AI officer. His name's Adam Peters. And the company originally started years ago. Oh man, almost 4 years ago. We created we created and then attempted to market a cybersecurity reporting tool to the DoD with a couple other founders. That was the worst first potential customer to have and worst case to try and start a business for, and trying to start and sell
Yep.
software to the DoD. It is an insanely long process and extremely expensive, but we thought we had something that was quite valuable and learned a lot of lessons along the way. I don't have a business degree. I don't have an MBA. I didn't run 6 other businesses or anything like that. This was kind of the first major one. And yeah, learned along the way, worked with the three of us that originally started the company. And then we made a massive pivot about a year ago in changing the business model. And then through that, we kind of learned that vision, the direction we were trying to head, people's effort levels definitely changed during that pivot.
Yep.
And so one person was actually bought out, one person left the company willingly. And so therefore it's just me now and carrying that torch further. And then I brought on Adam Peters. And since he's been on, it's been rubber meeting the road, and we've just been charging forward and getting a lot of momentum and traction that way. It's been a very interesting ride. I've learned a ton of lessons along the way, but I wouldn't trade any of the hard stuff or the tough conversations for anything, because it's kind of set me up for where we are now and the direction we're heading now.
It's the best education you have. Experience always tops the going to school or what have you. You
Absolutely.
Absolutely. One thing, since you're obviously all about AI, the theme I've been hearing about, and I just learned about this a couple weeks ago, is prompt engineering. Can you talk a
Yep.
little bit about what that is and if you assist with that?
Yeah, so prompt engineering is essentially how you're communicating with the AI. There's a story I like to use. I'm stealing this from somebody else, but it's such a great example of how to interact with AI. And really, that's what it is. It's communicating with it in English, right? So
Yep.
you're saying giving it a set of instructions. Most people treat it kind of like Google, right? Where they ask it a question. Can you find me this? Can you do this? And then they get kind of a answer and they're like, oh, this stuff is terrible. Well, if I were to ask a room of people to raise their hand, you're going to get a varying difference of people raising their hands. Some they'll be all the way up. Some will be like right here. Some will do the little like I'm too cool, so I'm just going to give you like the two finger kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? You get a multitude of different responses. AI is going to do the same thing when you ask it a very vague question. But the moment I ask the entire room to raise their hand as high as they possibly can, everybody's hand is going to go all the way up.
Yep.
When you ask them, well, why didn't you do that to begin with? They'll be like, well, you didn't tell me to. AI is the exact same. If you don't give it the exact directions and very detailed, granular directions and start guiding it to give you the output that you're looking for, you may never get it. You might get lucky. Sometimes it happens. We call this one-shot testing. We do a lot of that for people where we'll just, let's see if this is possible. We'll give it one shot. I'll give it one prompt. We'll see what we get, right? And then we'll refine it from there. So the prompt engineering is really learning different structures of prompting, different LLMs. So the way that we structure prompts for OpenAI, so your ChatGPT, is different than the way that we structure our prompts for Claude. It's just different than we prompt Grok or Gemini. They're very different. But also within that, there's different ways of getting different things from them and how you structure your prompts. The best thing that I can give people, or the most introductory thing that's going to give them the biggest benefit when it comes to starting to utilize prompts better and engineering them better to get better results, is give the AI a role and then ask it to do what you want it to do. So I had a friend of mine that was like, hey, I'm planning my 40th birthday party. We're going to go places and do stuff like that. And he's like, but I have no idea, like, how to book the travel or, like, because, he wants to plan all these things. So I was like, okay, this is what you'll do. You'll tell the AI, you'll give it the role. It is the world's best. And you have to do this. You have to tell it it is the absolute best, because then it's going to come, or it's only going to pull from the best results or the best data possible. If you just tell it you're a travel agent, it's going to pull all travel agent scheduling.
Yeah.
If you tell it you're the best travel agent, it's going to act as if it is the world's best travel agent, which is what you're hoping for when you're speaking with the
Yep.
AI and you're
Yep.
prompting it to give you this result. So tell it, I'm giving you the role as the world's best travel agent that's going to help me either save money or plan the most, whatever you want it to specialize in. Then you tell it to specialize in that. Then you can give it its task afterwards and saying, okay, this is what I want you to do now. I want you to provide me. That's really what prompt engineering is going in and giving the LLM or the AI a very specific set of instructions and then learning that structure. And really, when you get into the engineering of prompt engineering, now you're working with different structures. You're setting it up very differently based on the AI that you're working with and the results you're trying to pull.
Very cool. Very cool. No, I was just learning about that in my journey on finding out more about AI. So it's interesting. You mentioned a couple platforms. Talk a little bit about your tech stack. What tools are you using right now?
We use a number of different tools just because there's so many of them, but really we sit mostly with Airtable and N8N. We do a lot of our work. Nmake.com is where we do a lot of our work,
Okay.
is within those three tech stacks. N8N being the largest one. Airtable, we do some work and some consulting work for another customer right now and setting them up with some things there as well. It's really just Google Sheets on massive amounts of steroids, and you can build a lot of automations off of that. We're doing some stuff with Lovable. That's always a fun one. Like I built our own website off Lovable. I'm working on another couple projects utilizing Lovable. Yeah, and then with that, I mean, you're talking the different LLMs. We use the ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok. Not so much a lot of Llama right now, but those are really the main four that we use. We've messed around with some DeepSeek stuff, but we generally kind of try and stay away from it, mostly because we're not hosting it locally, which if you're going to use DeepSeek and you're not hosting it locally and offline, then obviously you're opening yourself up to a lot of potential risks, but
Sure.
it's no different than the risks that you would be opening yourself up to with Facebook or any other kind of tech company that has access to your data. It's just it's going to a foreign country that is doing some really suspicious things
Yep, I
when it
agree.
comes to mass amounts of data.
I agree. I agree. Since I'm in the payment acceptance space, have you seen anything, any movement in accounts receivables where AI is being applied at all?
I haven't seen anything specific or any specific tools or anything, but I know that there's a lot of possibilities there. There's a lot of future potential for seeing specific tools. And really, it's just depending on the process, right?
Right.
What parts of that process is something that you do more than 3 times a day is generally the kind of the consensus that's coming out within the industry that a lot of people are using as like the metric. What are you doing 3 or more times a day or more than 3 times a day? That can then be automated.
Okay.
Let's look at automating that process. Outreach, so follow-ups or things like that, right?
Right.
So if there's anything like that that can be automated as well. So there's a lot of number of different things that could obviously just off the top of my head we could actually potentially look at and saying, okay, we can automate this process for you and take that off your plate, and then we can take this off your plate. But really, I think the best way of approaching it is going to come at it with an AI first mindset, meaning that we look at the entire process
Right.
that you use and say, okay, with all of the capabilities of AI, what is the best way to do what you're doing? The entire thing, and let's build it from there. Not all the technology right now is going to be able to replace everything or build out that entire process, but I will say for people that are kind of on the fence and kind of like, well, I'm going to wait until it's absolutely perfect and it can replace everything. The problem with that is the people that are building some of their process or building out some of their processes being AI first minded and utilizing them now, they're just going to take minor tweaks
Right.
where you're going to have to build an entire system and change everything where they've already done that. So the adoption for those that are already implementing solutions and automations is going to be a lot faster in the future compared to you waiting until everything's perfect,
I agree.
which is
I
going to be
agree.
a killer.
And
I mean,
from what I'm seeing doing these podcasts and talking with people, if you're not implementing or leveraging AI currently and you have your competitors are and putting it in place, you're going to get left behind on a competitive advantage. Do you agree with
oh,
that?
extremely, yeah. And I can tell you, your competitor is. If you're not, your competitor is,
Right.
and that it's no longer like they will be. No, they are.
Right.
And the time to act is now and getting ahead of the curve and staying slightly ahead of the curve rather than trying to stay at the top of it, because the people that are slightly ahead, like I said, the adoption of new technology and new advancements is going to be a lot faster for them.
Yep.
So they're just going to end up exponentially further ahead than you.
Yeah, and like you just stated, nothing's perfect to start with. You build on it. You got to start somewhere, right? And then
Oh, absolutely.
you got to, improve it. It's a continuous process.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're saving, like one of our customers, right? They were like, "Can you help us out with this? Build us this automation." So we helped them build some automations, and they do manufacturing parts sourcing,
Okay.
and they do a lot, right? And things have to happen fast in that industry. We're talking minutes. They need to get out quotes and close deals,
Right.
or they can lose a client and they can lose the deal. By them saving 5 minutes on one thing can seriously make or break that deal.
Wow.
So now it's not just that we're saving them 5 minutes, but now they're closing more deals. So even though we're not able to provide them the full solution that we want to build for them simply because there's a piece of software that just doesn't have the capability to do what we want to do right now,
Right.
they are still able to capitalize on these marginal gains. I'm talking 5 minutes. But that is the difference between them getting that deal and not. Now you're looking at how many more deals are they closing and what does that look like over the next 2 years?
Yep.
How much more revenue are they going to be able to generate by saving 5 minutes here and there, right? If we save them 45 minutes a day, that's massive turnaround after 2 years or after a year.
Oh,
after 3
yeah. Your
years.
return on investment is Unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's not even the full system we want that we originally started talking to them about. So think about that. Like we hit a massive roadblock, but we found another way to still provide them something that was extremely valuable in the meantime until that capability exists. Once that capability exists, I mean, you're talking 5, 10 times the ROI of what they're currently seeing.
Wow,
But it's
impressive.
still massive right now for them.
Yep, and just think if their competitor, whatever industry that is not doing it, they are going to get left behind.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, and you know, yeah, it's not a matter of like whether you should or you shouldn't. It's a matter of like really understanding and having someone kind of guide you through the process. Because what we're also seeing right now is just a lot of people signing up for a lot of tools
Right.
that they're barely using, or they're using 20% of it, and they're paying all this money a month, whether it be $50, $100, or $1,000. Or I've seen some of these tools out there, it's like $2,500 a month. And if you're paying that, but you're only using 20% of that, you're wasting a ton of money. Where if you would have had a really good strategy built ahead of time of what is the biggest pain points, what is the best technologies to start using, what are the best ones to leverage right now, what are the best plans to utilize, this is what we need, and someone like where we can come in and kind of guide you through that process and help you build out that strategy and say, hey, this is going to be the best way for you to get started with it. Don't change your whole business. Let's find a couple of different pain points. Let's find the worst one, the best one, the one with the highest ROI, and let's start there and then slowly start changing everything throughout the business. That's going to be the best way to do it rather than just, well, this ad sold me, so I'm
Right.
gonna pay for Notion, I'm gonna pay for Lindy, I'm gonna pay for, all these other tools that you're not actually leveraging its full capability, which truth be told, most of these tools you could probably get ChatGPT to do it for you. However, the advantages of these tools is that they've already maximized ChatGPT because a lot of them run off ChatGPT as the backbone and like infrastructure for it.
Right.
They've already maximized its capabilities and specialized it in whatever they're offering to you. So
Yeah.
they've taken it,
No, I think you.
optimized
I think
specific
you.
to that ad.
You hit the nail on the head. There is everybody wants to implement or start using AI, but where do you start? And that's where you come in. You have the
Yep.
experience, the expertise. Engage someone like yourself or All Set Technologies and start.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. Just start, but you got to have some guidance on where do I start, what tools should I use, and you've taken out the learning curve there. That's where the value
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's because we have played around with some of these tools
Oh yeah,
and found out, how bad they can actually be or how much of it is actually unusable or usable or what's the best use case. We do the research on this stuff. I mean, yesterday I was mowing my lawn listening to podcasts specifically about certain tools that are available right now. I mean,
yeah,
and how somebody else is utilizing them going, "Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. Let me take note of that and I might utilize that later," or, "Hey, this is something I might stay away from."
yeah,
So it's yeah, it's that's because it's a lot. I can tell you from personal experience. I mean, it's a lot to try and stay up with. I mean, it's a full-time job just trying to stay in the loop of what's coming out and what's available and how it works,
yep,
right? And how to utilize it best.
yep,
Because when we get on calls with people and they're like, "Oh, we're using this tool. Have you heard of it?" And it's like there's 1,000 of them that do that exact same thing. I know the gist of it, but I haven't heard of that specific one
right,
yet.
yep.
Right?
But
And
you
obviously
know
we'll
what to
go take a
look
look
for
at
if
it.
you need to research a new tool that's out there. One thing I
Yeah,
was
and
just
they,
when we're talking about a repetitive process in regards to the accounts receivables process is do you use an AI for a dunning engine, meaning nobody likes past due invoices, dealing with them, what have you. You could so easily set up a dunning engine that invoice that's 10 days past due, whatever task it is, anything, and escalate it if it's 30 days, keep however you want
yeah,
to structure it, but you could
yeah.
definitely automate that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's a pretty easy automation to set up, and I mean you can really go into the details of it in individualizing the messaging
Right.
that you send out. You can pull the data from that invoice. So not only are you just getting first and last name, but you can actually reference specific things about that invoice. And then if there's any additional documents or calls, like transcripts from calls in which you talked about whatever the invoice is for, you can then reference those to even go further into the messaging and saying, hey, we talked about doing this, that, and the other for you, but we're unable to do that because, you
Yep.
haven't paid the invoice yet.
Wow,
It's past due or whatever.
that would be a very straightforward process. And if you're reducing your past dues, obviously there's a lot of value to a business for that.
Yeah. I mean, I know in the healthcare revenue cycle that there are businesses, very wealthy businesses, that just go and find past due, overdue, or
Oh,
unpaid medical bills.
yep. And then
And
the
hospitals write them off as like lost money.
yeah,
They write that off as
or
lost
if
money.
particularly in healthcare, if they turn it over, if $100 bill, they might only get 50. On the billing company or whoever's doing it collects it, they might only get 50% of it, whatever the agreement is. So
Yep.
you
Yep.
can take care of that some on your own, man. That could be huge.
Yeah.
But
And I mean, from what I know of it, I mean, it's millions of dollars
yep, yep.
is recouped.
When you engage with a company, how do you do it? Do you do it on a project base, hourly base? What's that look like?
It depends. If we're doing consulting, it's generally more hourly, as in how much work that they need from us, how often they want us working with them. We can do kind of a la carte, pay as you go kind of deal. You can pay for hours up front. You can get us on a monthly retainer if you know you're going to have a lot of work
Yep.
for us. Obviously, the more you sign up for, the cheaper it gets,
Sure.
just like anything else. But then if you just want us to implement something or build something for you, then it's a little bit more project based. We're going to look at what the tech stack is. Usually the way that process works, we enter into what we call an exploratory milestone. What we're going to do is, it's a flat rate, it's $1,000. We spend about 5 days, about a week, depending on the complexity of what you're asking for. Most of them are about a week. And we'll go in and we'll test and we'll figure out what that tech stack looks like, what the overall costs are going to be, any hosting fees, go down the whole gamut of it, and then provide you with an MVP at the end of it. We'll do a lot of one-shot testing, so we won't optimize our prompts for that. We'll just give you a good one-shot test or one-shot prompt with that to get you close to the result that you're looking for, and provide that to you. And then obviously the whole kind of proposal of what everything's going to take, how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost. And obviously that cost goes towards, if you move forward with that
Sure.
solution, that cost goes forward to the overall solution. We find it's a lot better doing it that way, because we can really define how we're going to build this out and make sure that if there's any roadblocks, like I mentioned before with that one of our previous customers, they went into an exploratory milestone to try and build a very specific solution. In that exploratory milestone, we found that the software that they're using wasn't going to allow us the access with the API calls that we needed for now. So therefore, then it switched into something else where through that, we built up that relationship with them. They're like, hey, can you consult with us in the meantime until we can build that? Sure, absolutely. We'll help guide you through this process. Let us show you a really good strategy for implementing AI into the business. So therefore, once that opens up, it'll be a lot easier for you to adopt that. So that's kind of how we do it. Is after that exploratory milestone, then we actually go through the build, and then from there, there's a couple of different options that we can offer where we can completely hand it off to the customer if they feel super comfortable just running it themselves. They're going to pay for their own API keys, their own hosting fee, whatever additional fees may be associated with that in the tools that help provide that automation.
Sure.
Or we can go all the way to, we run it for you, we host it, everything for you, and just make it super easy for people. A lot of people tend to go that way because it is a lot to try and learn and try and understand and make sure you're keeping up with certain things.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, we would set you up if they were going to host it themselves, but we haven't had anybody take that route yet of fully self-hosting it. They usually stay around with us and have us kind of do some things, because we can also watch it on the back end and work on some optimization
Yep.
in that support plan for them as well. And we'll see things before they even realize what's going on, and we'll have it fixed before they would even notice.
Well, it's better to be proactive than reactive. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, there's value in that. Well, thank you very much, Tyler. How do we find out more about All Set Technologies for any of those.
Simple. You can go to allsettechnologies.com. That's ALSET, since we're headquartered in Alabama. So before you get the AL, so it's only one L. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. It's pretty easy to find me. A lot of people find me there. Just Tyler Nelson. You can type in AI or something like that along with it. You'll find me pretty quick. Or Alabama. I usually pop up pretty high. So.
All right. Well, great. I really appreciate it. And thanks for being on the call.
My pleasure, sir. Appreciate it.